Video Game Deep Kisses weekly newsletter from video game industry. Watcher, Simon Carless, DD, Gamasutra Code Runner. Rounding up the best long-read standout articles videos about games every weekend. This week's highlights include a look at Moss's new commissions in the video game space, the crunch-free development of Slime Rancher, and a very off-kilter procedurally generated dating game, among other things. As always, there's lots of good material here. From podcasts through videos to articles, please take the time to read, enjoy, and even tweet at the creators if you liked it. You'd be surprised how little people get complimented on the internet, or maybe you would not. Until next time, Simon, curator. NASA turns to games for a new generation of space art. Podium. How we get to next article. NASA spent much of the 20th century commissioning painters and illustrators to imagine the future of space exploration. When Jeff Norris, the head of Mission Operations Innovation at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, JPL, wanted a way to inspire a new generation of potential engineers, scientists, and astronauts, he turned to a modern alternative to those artists, a games developer. Steam 2018 Year in Review, the Steam Community article. You may not remember this, or maybe you do, but the first couple of years for Steam were pretty rocky. We did not have much beyond the rudimentary client, a way for users to buy games, and servers to deliver those bits, most of the time. Fast forward to 2018 and the challenges we faced this year alone were far beyond what we imagined back when we first launched the Star. Simon, just note, while being a lot more open than previously is good. What happened to the Queen's Golden Way? People make games YouTube video. About a decade ago, the Queen was sent a golden console as part of a PR stunt for a Forgotten Way game called Big Family Games, but she never actually received it. Why not? Where is it now? We've decided to try and find it for ourselves. How? Slime Rancher made a ton of money and stuck to 0-hour work weeks. Patrick Klipik, Waypoint article. As part of reporting this story, I spoke with several employees who do added work under Popovich. Everyone was given an opportunity to speak off the record about their experiences, but all vouched for his claims about what it's been like to make Slime Rancher, describing a studio where crunch was exceedingly rare, and people are told to go home. BadCupid, procedural romance in a digital world. Emily Jar Eurogamer article. And when you are making a procedural generation-laden game about love, compatibility, dating, and rejection, it's important to break down your thoughts on this sort of thing ahead of time. For the past several months, Tanya X. Short and her team at indie studio Kid Fox Games have been developing BadCupid, a digital betting game that turns procedurally generated dates into a game of prediction. Games and crowdfunding in 2018. The must be co-partners article. Following the trends from the last few years, most of the games category numbers are driven by the tabletop games projects, with video games representing about 1/10 each of the money raised by them. Playing cards are still very popular, with more than 500 projects funded. Simon, just note, infinite graphs, but great detail on a revenue growth stalled, but still useful for communities. Video game crowdfunding thing. The Grandeur game is a bad game, but an interesting vision for INTERACTIVETV. Only watch Eurogamer article. Just a few weeks after Netflix released the Black Mirror episode, Bender's Not Charlie broke a slick, game-literal hybrid of high-end drama and choose your own adventure. Its great rival in streaming video, Amazon, is here with a very different vision of the intersection of video games on television. It's the Grand Tour game, an episodic, casual racing game spun off from the expensive antics of three elderly boys. Your game studio does not have to survive to succeed. Tongish Adventure Beat article. By this point, hopefully we have all laughed and moved past the idea that just to make a good game is good business advice. However, it's a little discussed the truth that there are smart, savvy indies that do indeed follow this advice, and indeed knowingly risk the closure of their studios. And even if those studios close, both leaders and employees can potentially come out the better for it. Why friendly I cheat in Ghost Recon Wildlands via one name's YouTube video. Sometimes, if you want to make your game work as intended, you need to cheat a little bit. In this video, I examine one of the best cheating systems in recent years, the Companion 9 of 2017, as Ghost Recon Wildlands, Life of the Great, Part 1, Making Ultima Underworld. Jimmy Marr the Atlanticarian article. 3D graphics were, one might say, baked right into Looking Glass's DNA. Paul Neurath and Ned Lerner, its two Aventure founders, met one another in 1978-inch computer science course at Wesleyan University, where Neurath was studying environmental science, Lerner physics. For the course's final project, they teamed up to make a 3D space game rendered in ASCII text. The real-world battle over dancing avatars did put Nights to the floss. Elizabeth Harris New York Times article. In 1973, the performer Hugo Lucchini sold screenshot broadcasting after one of his news programs aired his entire act on television, an act in which he shot himself out of a cannon at an Ohio county fair and landed in a net 200 feet away. Today, a new set of cases is moving the legal boundaries of who control certain performances. Simon does note, yes, there's been a lot of articles on this, but this one goes a lot deeper. Legally, thoughts on Detroit Being Human, Thomas Grip, Frictional Games blog article. Quantic Dream learns with each game, and addresses their issues with no features. But with no features come no issues, and lots of juicy design lessons. In this blog post, I will talk at length about affordance, then touch upon branching and themes. Simon does note, notable because Thomas is the designer of Amnesia, The Dark Descent Soma, and one of the smartest design minds around. The best new music festival is in Minecraft. Louis told a noisy article. When Charlie XCX bellowed, "What the fuck is up Firefest?" I felt a rush of tingly excitement, even though I had not made it through the festival gates yet. As the pop star spoke during a Cook contemporaries set, that prickle of euphoria rushed through the expectant crowd. Collectively we lost our shit and spent a chat with a string of heartfelt expletives and candy-colored emojis. Humans who make games app. 1. Edmund Macmillan, Adam Conover Starbuns audio podcast. For our first episode, Adam talks to Edmund Macmillan, the creator of Super Meat Boy, The Binding of Isaac, and more. We track Edmund's journey through his beginnings as a struggling comic book artist, how he found an audience for his work online, and how he continues to push himself and innovate. God's 10-year journey to bring old games back to life. Alex Wheelchair PC Gamer article. 10 years ago, not long after a young CD Projekt had founded a development studio and released The Witcher, the company founded something else, GOG.com. Back then, though, GOG was not just GOG, it was Good Old Games, a new digital store aimed at selling only old games. Should roguelikes have persistent upgrades, Game Maker's Toolkit YouTube video Roguelikes are defined by randomly generated levels and permadeath. But that permadeath can be a point of contention for players who like making tangible progress. So maybe there's a way to add a sense of advancement to roguelikes. The epic game star, as described by Sergey Galyankin, Gamasutra Forum post-podcast summary. I recently found out about a really interesting Russian-spoken podcast that Sergey Galyankin co-hosts called in English, How Games Are Made. Galyankin is currently the director of publishing strategy at Epic Games and also the person behind Steam Spy. Simon, just note, I'm very surprised that Galyankin was so transparent about Epic Games Store's strategy in public. Maybe he thought people were not going to pick up a Russian language podcast. This seems to have backfired somewhat.